Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. You probably clicked the title of this video thinking why you're here, and to that I say it's about the divinity of the universe or divine nature of the universe. And you are where you are supposed to be. And this isn't any sort of affirmation or self help type of video. Think of this as more of a digital journal. Just gonna be thinking out loud and just have a conversation. Mainly, it's gonna be a one-sided conversation, but anyways, uh, the video is definitely inspired by one of my idols, Caspian. Go check him out, search him up. If you don't know him already, just do a quick Google search. You should definitely go check out his content. It's very inspirational. But didn't really plan out what I wanted to talk about today, but let's just go with something that came to the something that came across my mind, and that being, I feel like an issue a lot of young people face nowadays is they don't really know what they want to do in life. They have the sense, they have that passion, they have that work ethic. Like they want to work. They're like, I want to spend hours doing something, but I just don't know what it is. And I feel like that's an issue. A lot of my colleagues and my brothers, they go through this, and I ask them, I'm like, why do you feel this way? And they just don't know the answer. And I've kind of been reflecting on that and thinking, why is that? Why is there's so much content out there for you to consume, but then there's no way to, figure out what you want to do, right? There's so many self-help videos, there's so many self-help books. Uh, you have AI, right? They say you could start a business with AI, and there's all these resources, but then nothing's being done. And why is that? And I think the problem is in itself that there's too much, right? We're being overloaded with all these things that are put in front of us, especially with social media. And I'm not saying social media is a bad thing. I think you could use it as a tool for whatever you want to promote, whether that's in the arts or you're running a business or whatever it is. But back to what I was saying, I feel like nowadays people are just so caught up. Sorry, not even, they're so caught up with so much things that are incoming towards them, and you gotta think of your mind like a road, right? And each thought that comes is a car that passes by. And the more and more you consume content, and the more self-help videos you watch, it's just more traffic in that road, right? And eventually you're gonna realize that it's kind of redundant. The more cars that are on your road, and the more traffic it is, and the less space there is for anyone to move, and then you can't really get anywhere. And that's why I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, what could be the solution for this? And to be honest, I don't have the solution for it. But one thing that I was able to do, and how I was able to figure out what I wanted to do, was just experiment, just do a bunch of things, right? And like I said earlier, life is gonna throw so many things at you, right? There's so many things you could do, especially with the internet. So do it. Just try something. Like if you want to play an instrument, learn how to play the instrument. Worst case, it doesn't work out. Okay, on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And they say time is your best friend when you're young, and it's your enemy when you're older. And especially if you're young watching this, you have all the time in the world, right? And young is a state of mind. It's not just, a physical number. It's a state of mind, right? And as long as you're able to keep that curious, youthful mind, they say look at the world in the perspective of a child, right? A child is always curious. They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to learn. When you're a kid, you go to the playground and you pick up the rocks, you pick up the sand, and you figure out what it is. You're experimenting. That's the same way I'd say as an adult. Be a child. Experiment things. Figure out what you want to do. My passion lies in film, but it's beyond that, right? I explore arts. I explore fashion. There's so many things that can correlate with what you want to do. And the more and more you do things, eventually you figure out. I used to make music, I used to make YouTube videos, I experimented, I tried these things, and some of them did work, some of them didn't really. I didn't really see any results, but I had to go through those things to eventually reach what I want to do, which is film. So, which is what I'm telling you: do things, try things, see how far you could go with it. Um, and it is hard to really keep make new habits, right? Because old habits stick, especially if you're used to watching Netflix and just chilling. And but at the same time, don't be hard on yourself for that. Find little things you could do. Um, Even if it's a new hobby you want to try out, playing an instrument, just literally practice learning one chord or one part of the song. Uh, Little things like that. Um, yeah, and I think all it really is taking that first step and just action. And I know it sounds really straightforward, but it's just about action, and just try. And if you're gonna fail, it's fine. It's fine. That's literally part of everything, especially when I first started my film career. There's a lot of auditions I did I wasn't able to attain. Used to travel to downtown. My commute was longer than the actual audition itself. So it's just a live and learn experience. But back to what I was saying earlier, why it ties to you are where you need to be right now. If you're watching this video, I really hope you could take this away and, you know, try something. Write down literally 3 things that interest you and just see. And if you don't really want to do a lot of thinking, literally enter it into Google or any AI platform. It'll give you a list of things you could do. It's just a matter of just action, right? And another thing I kind of wanted to bridge into this was that I feel like a lot of people nowadays they tend to feel bad about themselves because, oh, I'm not doing anything yet. They compare themselves to other people they see on social media, and you just have to have faith in yourself and the universe, man. Once you really find your once you figure out what you want to do, have that end goal, and just believe in it. And I don't know how long it's gonna take. It could take maybe a week, a year, several years. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you have that end goal in mind, whether it's like I want to start a business, or I want to open my own bakery, or I want to be a pianist, or whatever it is, just have that end goal and just let the universe do what it can. But that doesn't mean you just stay there and not do anything, right? It's little things you could do, right? And whether you realize it or not, there's a lot. I used to have this problem where it's like I used to sit there and I'm like, oh, like, dude, none of it's making sense. Mm, the stuff I do isn't really related to film. So like, how am I really working towards my goal? But you need to realize these things that don't seem like they have anything to do with their goals, they can help. And for example, like I'm specifically into acting, right? And one thing I realized is, me just even talking to people, going out there and just meeting new people, that could somehow help with my acting because I could learn people's stories and then bring that into the characters I play. Even though this conversation I'm having with a random person at a store has nothing to do with really acting, I could use that and turn it into something that works for my goal. They say that once you find your true passion or something you're working towards, the world becomes your library. And that's something I firmly believe. You could take uh, lemons and then make lemonade, and that's what it is. Just experiment, try things. Once you figure it out, then you realize that whatever you are doing, whether it's even existing, even breathing, it could somehow help later down. It's just about connecting the dots. So that's why we're called human beings, right? We're human beings first. Beings, the state of being in present. So don't worry about the what ifs, what you can control. Do what you can now. And what you can do now is just take that first step. I don't know what that first step is for you, but that's for you to figure out. And you may not figure out now, right now. It may take you next week to figure it out, next month. But just plant that seed in your mind, that whatever you want to do, and eventually you'll find whatever you want to manifest come true. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining me today. I know it's been all over the place, but hopefully you took something away from this video, and may our paths meet again soon. Thank you.